So today I'm just going to quickly go over my overview for my 2024 training plan. Those of you that have followed the channel for long enough are aware that I'm going to try to tweak my training this year. I'm going to look at it be far more intensive, far more focused. Over the last couple of years I've made some fairly big strides in terms of my running performance. I've obviously, since I've returned to running a couple of years ago, I've started to make those improvements. So yeah, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name's Adam. This is my channel, obviously LARK Running UK, and like I said, today I'm just going to quickly cover what my training is going to look like for 2024. For the last couple of years, it's all been down to me. I've kind of created my own training plans. I've returned to running, like I said, about 2.5 years ago, and I've made some steady improvements from when I started. Obviously, when I started to come back to kind of now, I've made, for the last 2 years, I've made PBs in every distance, the 5, the 10, half. I did the marathon last year, but obviously the previous year I ran my first ever marathon in 2022. But this year in 2024, I decided it was time to change. I wanted to tweak things, and those again that followed along know that I'm now going to race less but pace more. So I'm going to do far more races in 2024, but it's going to be predominantly pacing other runners and me focusing less on racing. I've got one goal race, which is the Chester Marathon in October, which then allowed me to focus more on the training itself. I could focus on it far more specifically, make it far more intensive, far more structured, far more focused, allow me to make some bigger strides in terms of my running fitness, my running abilities, hopefully, without the kind of hindrance of a goal race on the horizon, which I needed to be fresh for, etc. So yeah, today I'm just going to quickly give you my overview, and then as I get into each part of the year, I'll do a bit more of a detailed kind of vlog in terms of what the block is actually going to look like specifically. So yeah, in the previous vlog, in the Things Need to Change vlog, I first touched upon this topic in terms of I wanted to change things up. Previously, I would have purely just put a training block together for a specific goal race. So last year I had the 2 half marathons. I just basically put 2 half marathon training blocks together with a small maybe maintenance period in between, and then either side of that, again, it would have just been maintenance or casual running or me doing whatever I wanted to do, which again at the time worked. In the previous year I did something similar. I basically just upped the mileage as I was just returning to running. Then I put one solid training block together for the marathon, ran the marathon, and then kind of had a bit of a deload and a bit of a maintenance period towards the end of the year. But I've kind of realised that now I'm not going to focus on racing per se as much this year. I'm just going to be doing pacing. I don't have to specifically train for those, so what am I going to do for the majority of the year, which allowed me then to actually really focus down on my training and what I wanted to do. So like I said, as a general overview, it's going to be more focused, more specific. I'm basically going to go from not a block to block. It's not going to be a specific block, but it will be from training on one specific distance focus to the next, which will allow me to build on the previous bits of training, and hopefully between now and the end of the year. I'm filming this now about the start of January. Hopefully this time next year, or this time towards the end of the year in terms of 12 months time, hopefully I'll be able to see that continued progress in my running, that kind of upward trend. Like I said, I've made some fairly significant progress over the last 2 years, but I felt if I just continued doing what I was doing at the minute, keeping everything in-house, me doing my own ideas, my own training methods, I potentially would start to stagnate pretty quickly. So yeah, what I decided to do was obviously open up in terms of reaching out and looking at other methods, other ideas. As I've got I'm fairly experienced as a runner now in terms of I've been running on and off for about 10 years. My background is sports and coaching, so but also I also wanted to reach out and maybe try something different, try some new methods. The Winter Speed Series I felt was a success, and it was far more integrated in terms of short burst interval work, which I didn't do as much of previously. I was generally a steady state type of runner where I just got for decent length runs, kind of threshold or just below threshold pace, easy-ish, steady-ish pace. Yeah, so in terms of how did I put this together, I basically just looked at different outlets, different information out there in terms of training systems, training methods, different like I said, bodies of work. So and I ended up setting on a few different information streams. So Runner's World of a fairly decent training kind of information package out there. Hal Higdon, everyone's kind of heard of Hal Higdon, I assume that he's got a fairly significant, again, training systems and methods in place. And then I stumbled across obviously the Night Run Club. They've got, again, kind of comprehensive training plans and programs in place for various distances, and also one that surprised me was just a Brooks one. So I found a Brooks training plan for, again, various distances. So what I did was I found all those 4 bits of information, I amalgamated them all, and then I basically just condensed it and looked at what I think would work best for me, what I want to do more of, what will fit in with my structure, my current kind of time commitments, time availability, work patterns, etc. What will fit, as I'll be picking a six-day a week training plan. I'll try to put something like that together, but it's just not really feasible at all. So yeah, the basic overview, it's going to consist of roughly 4 or 5 runs per week, and then basically there'll be a easy run, a long run, a speed session, and a kind of tempo or threshold session there with the 4 runs. And then the 5th run, it'll probably be every fortnight, and that'll be an additional easy kind of mileage run. But that's kind of the very, very basic overview. And then again, just the basic cover idea of the year. So January is going to be fairly relaxed, which is what we're currently in now. So obviously without Christmas, I'm just going to kind of feel my way back into January, do some things I've wanted to do some projects, and do some kind of runs I've wanted to do for a while, not been able to when I've been intensively training. And then I'm going to start to kind of move up the distances as I progress through the year. So I'm going to start with actually the 10k, which again I still feel is my weakest distance. So from February and March, roughly is about 8 weeks. I'm going to have a bit of a focus on that. Again, it's not too intensive, it's not too pressurized, it's just a bit of a focus, so it gives me something to focus upon. It gives me something to align my methods towards. And again, on the back of the Winter Speed Series, when the first time in over 12 months I really focused on a specific distance, i.e. 5 and 10Ks, and looking at the shorter, faster speed work, I've basically gained the benefits of that, knocking 60 odd seconds off my 10K in a fairly short period of time. I feel a real focus on a specific distance is what I never previously have done. I've just basically generically ran a set amount of mileage, generally the same type of stuff, like maybe steady state, maybe a few fartlegs, but nothing too focused, and that's why I wasn't making those big gains, those big strides at the differences. I feel that focusing on each distance individually, I can get the gains and then I can build on that for the next one, so that'll make more sense now as I progress. So yeah, for February, March is going to be a 10k focus, and then April and May is going to be half marathon focus. So again, roughly 8 weeks after that, I'm going to look at maybe more of a half marathon focus, tweak my runs a little bit. Obviously those sessions will generally stay the same: the easy run, a speed session, a long run, and a tempo or threshold workout. But again, it'll be tweaked and tailored to the distance specifically. So 10k training will look different to the half marathon training. Then I'm away kind of late May, early June, which fits in pretty well in the end. I'm going on a fairly big family holiday, so I'll do any running I can, but it's pretty much switch off and recharge, refresh. And then when I come back early June, I go straight into my marathon training block, which is obviously the biggest one of the year. That'll be about 16-ish, 17 weeks, I think it's going to be, with the time I've got left when I return early June up until the race in early October. So June, July, August, and obviously September will be marathon focus. But like I say, I think 16 weeks with maybe a 10-day taper, which will probably suit me better. Actually, I think I always struggle with the 2-week taper. I felt it was too long. I ended up stagnating and losing a bit of fitness. I'll then probably I think I've scheduled in a kind of maintenance block in October. So straight after that, I'm going to have about 2 or 3 weeks of maintenance, and again just deload. I'll still be running. I'll still be sticking to a fairly strict weekly structure, but I won't be too pressurised. Again, there'll be no focus per se, so I can just have a bit of a relaxed running period on the back of that 16-week block. And then that leaves just November and early December. And again, going off the experience of this year, I left it a bit too late into the December, so I want everything wrapped up basically mid-December. Then if there's any delays, I've got a bit of time, and then I can relax, switch off for the Christmas period. So yeah, November and December, that's going to be about 6-7 weeks. That'll be fine, just wrap it up with a 5k focus. I like to do that over the darker winter period. The shorter distances, you've got less daylight, it just fits in best. It's worked for the last 2 years in terms of I did a Project 10k, and then I've done the Winter Speed Series this year. They were the last 2 winters, and that seems to have worked best, the shorter, faster work. So that's basically the very basic overview. I appreciate that's quite a bit of information, but yeah, that's the basic plan. Just to recap, Basic plan is 4 runs a week. Like I said, 1 easy run, a long run, a speed session, and a tempo or threshold workout. Mondays will generally be my easy runs, Monday evenings. Tuesday afternoons will be my long runs. Wednesday evenings will be my alternate extra bonus run, easy mileage every fortnight. Friday nights will be my speed sessions, and Sunday mornings will be my tempo or threshold work. And then, like I said, the basic plan for the 12 months is relaxed January, February, March, 10k focus, April, May, half marathon focus. I'm away for a period of time, late May, early June. And then June to obviously all of September will be marathon focus. And then maintenance relaxed kind of October. And then November, December, 5k focus, just to work on the speed again before the end of the year. Again, I'll go into more detail as and when each block pops up. So when I get into towards the end of the next couple of weeks, I'll drop out specifically what I'm going to be looking at for the 10k, what my whole kind of weekly plan is going to look like, the distances I'm kind of running, the sessions and the workouts I'm going to be doing within that block. I don't want to go into too much detail today. This is just a kind of an overview, but that's the plan. Why am I doing this? I feel, like I said, touched about it a little bit earlier, that focusing on a specific distance for a specific period of time will allow me to really hone in on that distance and work on all those benefits of working on that distance. So like I said, the 10k, I can really look at speed endurance, try and hammer that and make some real big strides in terms of my 10k fitness. And then straight on the back of that, I can then build up upon that and progress the mileage a little bit, and then build upon that 10k fitness into my half marathon, which again will only help that, I think. I think I'll have a little bit of a break, which is kind of enforced, but I'll get it probably work out best. I've got a family holiday, and then when I come back, I can really dive straight back into the marathon block, which again is more, again, distance, time on feet, but again, I'll be all working on the back of my 10k and half marathon fitness, and I'll be able to roll that straight into my marathon training block, which will hopefully help that. And then towards the end of the year, I said 5k speed work just fits in well with the limited daylight, and just one final distance I've not really focused on. Why I'm not doing what I did previously, just in terms of getting solid mileage in and looking at different distances as and when they come up. I feel like I've done that, not till I'm kind of blue in the face, but I've done that for long enough now. I feel like I needed something different. Again, the Winter Speed Series has opened my eyes to that the interval work, what I would have felt was not a waste of time, but it's not as good as having more time on your feet. Or if I can run 10k in 40 minutes, why do I want to do 40 minutes of stop-start speed work? But it's more about intensity and then obviously quality over quantity. So my eyes have been open to that, and hence why I'm going to do something a little bit different. Will it work? Time will tell. I feel that this plan now will be far more structured, far more intensive, and I say far more focused on each individual distance in turn, rather than just being generally a running program for 12 months. I think will help me make those continued improvements. I'm getting to that kind of not level now, but I'm a fairly decent runner. I'm a sub 20-minute 5k, low 40s for 10k, 95 minutes for half marathon, and obviously I've only done the one marathon, but again I've got ambitions to go sub 3:30 at least this year. And I feel like I've got far more in my tank. I've got big ambitions to go a lot quicker in all those 4 distances, but that won't come by accident. It's going to come with a bit of work and a bit of focus, and I think I feel is the best way of me achieving that. But yeah, drop in the comments what you think in terms of how you train, if you're a far quicker or far more experienced runner than I am. Again, feel free to drop your opinions and your thoughts in the comments, and what will work best. I will give more details on when each of those parts of the year pop up. So like I said, 10k is next. That's only in a couple of weeks' time. I'll drop that. That's basically finalised now. That training plan is done. I'm not a million miles away from finalising the half marathon one for April and May. I've not looked at the marathon one yet. Obviously, that's going to work on the back of what I do through the half marathon block. But again, I will touch upon each of those as the year comes by. But yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail. That's the kind of basic overview. I wanted to give you all a bit of information about what 2024 is going to look like for me, what my running is going to look like, how it's going to change. And like I said, with no real regular goal races, the half marathons and 10Ks that I'm pacing will fit into this quite easily. I don't have to be particularly fresh. The paces I'm running for the races, I'm pacing it nice and easy, nice and sneezy, so that should work well. But yeah, I'll wrap it up there. I don't want to talk on for too much longer. So drop your opinions in the comments, how you train, what kind of training program, training methods you use. Do you use an app like Runner, or do you just actually utilise the information out there like I have done. But again, I've amalgamated it to work what's best for me and what fits into my structure. But yeah, I'll wrap it up there. As always, thank you for watching. I do appreciate everyone watching all the way through to the end of the video if you are still watching. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see everyone on the next one.